Are we gonna start this pod with a shot like it's shot o'clock or something, and I'm gold mouth timing?
You know, that's not a bad idea. Let me pour up. Give me a second.
What are you having today?
I'm actually on the tequila bandwagon today. I think the last couple times it's been some Whistle Pig.
Yeah.
But I've got some La Gratona here.
Okay.
Really good stuff. $35 bottle. Local, too. This is local. Yeah, good shit.
We're on the Grand Coromino today. Shout out to Kevin Hart. He should pay me.
Oh, you mean in the Heart to Heart? He's got I guess it's a video podcast, but
yeah, he had Jay-Z on there. I'm supposed to listen to that.
I did listen to it. Cheers.
Cheers to you too. Hey, next time you listen to like a conversation like that, tell me so I make sure I listen to it before the podcast.
Okay, I got you. I watched it like what's today? Today is Wednesday. I watched it Monday night.
Okay.
And only because I had saw a tidbit like article on Jay-Z basically saying about his retirement. So that's what made me interested, because I mean that's the reason most of us fuck with Hov. We love the music. Like I love Blueprint is one of the best rap albums ever. So does the Black Album. I think that falls on that list too. Like that's those are two albums to me that fall in the top 20. Love it. Reasonable Doubt's great too.
You know what it made Black Album better?
What?
If he let Amber Rose A&R it.
Who knows? Kanye might have had he might have threw an actual verse on it.
Do you really think Amber Rose? Do you really think she A&R'd the project, or she was like, "Hey, Kanye, Nicki kind of hot right now. You should see if you should bring her to the studio."
I think that he knew who the fuck she was, and I think like I just highly doubt that Kanye, especially considering how tight at the time Kanye was with Wayne, it's hard to believe that he didn't know who Wayne's artists were.
And with Kanye's ear and how he's always finding new sounds, new artists. I mean, like he found, what's his name? Panda. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'm hard pressed to believe that Kanye did not know who Nicki was. Maybe
he knew who she was.
Yeah. Maybe Amber said, "Hey, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like Nicki's here. You should like bring her through or fly her out to Hawaii or whatever, you know, because that's where he recorded that album at." But come on, man. And what she said, she A&R some of Wiz's project, all of her ex's projects. I think that A&R word she's using is a little strong. And I think she may have been around because she's the girl and said, "Hey, have you thought about this?" Or, "Hey, you know."
Well, if you notice, most of the time when people have to talk about themselves to people, they will always hype themselves up a little bit more than what it really is. And so, because for the most part, you don't have to, the great people typically don't have to talk about themselves. Everybody already talks about them. And granted, something like that is not something I guess anyone would know about, right? But at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. And I don't know how that would even have came up, considering Blame Game's about her. And that album is literally kind of based on a breakup between them.
Yeah.
So unless Monster was like the first track that and I don't know how Kanye's creative process works. Maybe that was one of the first songs he recorded. Because it did come out on Good Friday. That was a Good Friday track. Monster was. But it wasn't like the first track or whatever. But like, regardless, I do not believe that Kanye did not know who Nicki Minaj was, considering his relationship with Lil Wayne. And then not to mention, and maybe Kanye was bullshitting, but that OVO Fest when Drake bought Kanye out, Kanye said that him and Jay made Watch the Throne because of Drake. And Watch the Throne came out in 2010. Drake's first album was in 2010. So certainly if he knew who fucking Drake was, it'd be really hard for him to not know who Nicki Minaj was.
Yeah, she got that good. She Michael Jackson bad.
Well, more importantly, they're synonymous. Their rise to the top literally coincided one another.
Well, it was because of A&R Amber Rose.
Right. Not McMain.
Not Lil Wayne, not Birdman.
Baby.
Not Amber
Not
Rose.
Slim.
Nah, Amber Rose.
No.
I struggle, and this is bad. This is me stereotyping. It's hard for me to take her seriously when she's sitting there talking with a tattoo on her forehead.
You know what's crazy? Amber Rose used to be bad as fuck. I used to, when Kanye was first with her, and it's like you see this bald chick
with this big, nice, kind of sloppy body, but still nice.
No, this fat ass and like
titties too.
You're like, goddamn, like Kanye just found this random like who the hell is this? Like type shit.
Nick Cannon had her first.
Did he?
I think so, yeah.
And this is something too, and I know that we're getting so off the AOC thing, but like this is something that, and maybe we'll just naturally let it flow. But me and Justice literally had a conversation about this. About the dudes who have the most impressive roster.
Nick Cannon by far.
No, Bow Wow, sir. I swear to God, when I look, I was like, bro, Bow Wow didn't hit almost everybody.
Now, Bow Wow does have an impressive roster, like
Joey Chavis, obviously, like because Future got 2 Bow Wows left over.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even put Future. I wouldn't even put Future in that conversation. Not to say that Future doesn't have a great.
I'm saying Bow Wow.
Bow Wow.
He fucking who's the chick? It's like Aisha Diaz or some shit, bro. Like,
yeah, it's a lot.
He has such a roster of chicks that it's not even funny. For him to be a B-list rapper, but celebrity in general, he's not an A-lister.
He was the A-list youngin, and a lot of, especially the women who are younger than he is or at his age, they were in love with him. Loved him. Yeah, like they loved him when they loved him before they had periods.
Yeah.
So then when they saw him, they was like, "Oh, period poo."
Yeah, right. They're still attracted to him.
Yeah, but yeah, Nick Cannon's up there. He's a legend.
He's just a pumper at this point. I mean,
yeah, but still, like he had Kim K first, like early on, like Ray J Day. I'm talking about that early,
Yeah.
He married Mariah Carey.
And that's a tough feat in itself.
And he was younger too. Like, yeah, nah, he's up there. Who else? Jeter.
Oh yeah, I remember I think it was ESPN or somebody did a defensive alignment for a baseball field of all the women he's dated nothing but A-listers.
He was the captain of the Yankees.
Yeah, for a solid 15 years. And he won 5 titles. Which, think about it, in baseball, you can't name, unlike in the NBA, even like Kobe, Jordan, like there's people, you can't really name very many people in baseball that have those type of titles. When you think about it, like who's got the most World Series championships?
Who cares?
Baseball is not as celebrated because it's so not an individual sport.
I mean,
one guy can really change a series.
Well, think about it. Baseball, for the most part, is an individual sport. There are a few places where you need teamwork and cohesion. But if you're a center fielder and you bat .322, you hit 44 jacks, and you have 115 ribs, you know what? You're going to be in the MVP conversation.
Nick Cannon
have about a 92, have like a 92 to 95% fielding percentage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm just saying when you look at it, and that's why, and I know we are all over the place, but that's why even earlier or yesterday when the All-Star game was on, and Mr. Holsey put in a tidbit about 4 of the top 5 picks in the draft this year for baseball were Black Americans. And then when I really sat up and I thought about it, I'm like, Black people really run baseball too, even if you count the
Dominicans.
Yeah, yeah.
Cubans.
Like they look. If somebody saw them out and they didn't speak, they think they were black. And
Yeah,
so,
bro.
like
You think
Ronald Acuna looks
Acuna's?
like a nigga,
Yeah. You think Acuna want us?
right? And so, but then when I looked at it, even in totality, like I said, since 1990, the three biggest names in baseball are Bonds, Griffey, Jeter. Those are the three biggest names. And of course, Rodriguez is close there. You know, it's a couple of other guys. Like, I don't want to overshadow pitching because, I mean, Roger Clemens, of course, would be
Clayton Kershaw.
Albert Pujols.
Yeah. Pujols was almost a 700.
Yeah, he is. But so, I don't even think he's passed Griffey yet, though. People forget Griffey had like 680 something himself too. Like they got to be like neck and neck right now.
Let's see.
And you know that Griffey didn't play as long as Albert Pujols.
Nah, Griffey got hurt more.
Exactly. And then I forgot. You know the reason he went to the Cincinnati Reds was like
the bag.
Yeah, well that. But then there was a family issue going on, and that's where he grew up.
Ah.
So
Griffey's 630.
Okay. So yeah, Pujols has passed him.
Let's keep talking baseball.
I love it. Look, here's the thing. I hate products like the All-Star game yesterday when the score is 3-2, and that's the score after 4 innings, and that remains the score. That shit makes baseball so fucking boring. It's not even funny, and that's why
the score 3-2.
It was 3-2, and that was the score after the 4th inning.
That's
bad. We had 5 innings of scoreless baseball in an All-Star game. And,
it never happened in the steroid years.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't have. We would have been it would have been Home Run Derby Part 2 is what it would have fucking been, Did
you know Manny Ramirez is number 15 all time in home runs?
I am not totally surprised by that. I mean.
And Big Papi 17, but.
That sounds about right. Think about it. Big Papi was a DH a majority of his career. So that's all he was really doing.
So I'm just gonna read off the top home run guys, because I mean we know it, but we don't.
Bonds, Aaron, Ruth,
A-Rod.
Okay, A-Rod. Then
Pujols. Then Willie Mays. Then Griffey. Jim Tomei at 6'12".
He did hit a lot of balls. I mean,
yeah, he did.
Where's the big hurt?
He's 10 at 586 behind Sammy Sosa.
Wow.
McGuire's 11. Harmon Killebrew.
Have no idea who that is.
Raffy Palmeiro's 13. Okay. Reggie
That's
Jackson 14.
One of the steroid guys.
Yeah, Manny 15. Mike Schmidt 16. Papi 17. Mickey Mantle 18. I'm sorry. Frank Robinson is 10. Frank Thomas, the big hurt, he is 20 at 521, tied with Ted Williams, Ernie Banks.
The big hurt. Those commercials, bro, crack me up every time.
Frank Robinson, that's the OG.
So energetic. And I guess I said the clip yesterday, it's the biggest cuck shit I've ever seen on TV.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's crazy.
And it's like, especially because the product is basically a sexual stimulant / like, I don't know, hormone. Like, I don't know. It's something to give your sexual. She'll like it too. Like, it's
right. She looks so happy to go over there and talk to the hurt.
Right. Well,
did you know Chipper's number 30?
And then she's like more like the big hunk, and he's like, yeah. He's like, what the fuck does that mean?
Bro, did you know Chipper Jones is 35 in all-time home runs?
He's outside of obviously Hank. He's what is he, the second Brave?
Yeah, he's at 468. But I know he hit home runs, but you don't just think about him as a power hitter at all.
No, you don't. But you know what? There was the time when him and, like I said, Jones brothers, Andrew and Chipper, there was that time, man, where I swear I can remember in that mid-2000s, early mid-2000s, where like Andrew would have like 50. He had one year, Andrew did hit 50-something with the Braves. And then like Chipper had like 40, like to where they were, and they were the 3 and the 4 hole.
We got some Braves on here. Like, for one, who would have thought that Chipper hit more home runs than Vlad Guerrero, but not too far behind him is Andrew at 434.
Ooh,
Then
he
we got
had a hell of a run, like where he was hitting 35 plus for probably 6-7 years.
we got the Big Cat at 58 with 399.
Big Cat.
Andres Galarraga.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then Dale Murphy's at 60. Now, we've talked enough baseball, man.
Before we move off of that, just because you left off with Dale Murphy, you think Dale Murphy should be in the Hall of Fame?
I would have to look at his baseball reference page real quick.
2-time MVP, from my understanding.
Let's see.
How often does in any sport is somebody win 2 MVPs, league MVPs, and not get in?
2 MVPs, 7 All-Stars, 5 Gold Gloves.
That sounds like a fucking Hall of Famer to me.
It does. Buddy only has 398 home runs and a 265 batting average.
265?
Yeah.
How many ribbies? Is he over 1,200?
Let's see. Where is RBI? Yeah, 1266.
Put him in.
Yeah.
Put him in. I don't see how
2 more home runs he's in, and no one cares.
And prior to Chipper Jones, and obviously excluding Hank Aaron, many would consider him the greatest Brave ever. Like aside from before Chipper and obviously Hank being, Hank. And I think what he suffered from was he played on so many bad teams while he was a Brave. But
look, man, if you are really going to use record against most baseball players outside of pitchers, I don't really want to hear it.
Well, yeah, because you can't do it with pitching, obviously. That's like a goalie having a losing record in hockey and like putting him in.
Yeah, bro, like look here. If I'm playing first base and I'm batting in the high 2s every year, it's probably not my fault we're losing.
Should Carmelo like that? Like Carmelo is somebody that's kind of in that conversation. And the Basketball Hall of Fame is different because they count college too
and Olympics.
And obviously he takes the cake for Olympics, and you can't do anything better than what he did in his 1 year of college. He Cam Newton'd his fucking college.
I'm recording. Hey, Mom.
Howdy. He Cam Newton'd his college basketball career by winning in the 1 year that he was there. And it's not like Syracuse just wins national titles. So like him going and doing it was a big deal. But I just think that there's similarities there just in terms of with a guy like that, even though he didn't win any MVPs, but
yeah, he got a scoring title. Let's see, he is
like a 12-time All-Star.
Yeah, 10-time, and he's number 9 all-time scoring. Yeah, he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in.
Well, I mean, he's one of the best scorers of our lifetime in a scoring era. Or excuse me, one of the most. Huh?
He only got 1 scoring title?
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, he played in the league with KD, James
Kobe.
Harden. No KD Russ.
Yeah, but all those guys only have 1, 2. I mean, Kobe's got, I think, 2. KD's got 4. Because KD racked up like 4 in his first 7 years.
And James got a couple, and Steph got some.
Steph probably has 2. I wouldn't imagine he has more than 2. Because you got to think about the years that these guys were going bonkers, like and really just putting the ball in the hole. Like one of Harden's years has to be his MVP year. Same with Russ. Whatever year Russ got MVP, he led the league in scoring too.
He led the league in like scoring and assist.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Embiid won it last year. Steph the year before. James the year before that. Then James won 3 in a row. Then Russ won before him. Then then Curry won. Then Russ won in 14-15. KD won 13-14. Yeah, Russ got 2.
Damn.
Melo won 12-13. KD 11-12, 10-11, 9-10. D Wade 08-09.
Kobe had him in the year before.
Nah, Bron was the year before.
Then Kobe.
Then Kobe won the 2 before that. Then AI, McGrady, AI, Shaq, AI, then MJ.
Damn, AI's got 4? I mean, I know AI's career average is what? Like 26? Almost 27? Yeah, really close to 27 a game.
26.7, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Single the bucket.
he was, and you know what? They did
walking 30 ball.
They did a secret base thing on YouTube. That's
Uh-huh.
I forgot what it was called, but now it's called secret base, where they do the beefs and stuff. You've seen it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. I follow that. I watch their videos.
Okay, so did you see the one with the Larry Brown and AI?
I haven't.
So that's one of the newer ones. I saw that too. Same night I watched the Kevin Hart Jay-Z. I watched that.
Okay.
And so the interesting thing about AI is that there was a trade that they did the year before they went to the finals that I had no idea about. The summer of the 2000 year headed into the 01 season, they were going to trade AI.
Detroit, right?
To Detroit in like a 4-team deal, but Matt Geiger, who was the white power forward.
All head motherfucker.
Yeah. My uncle used to make fun of him because, they from Wilmington, 30 minutes from Philly. So they were Sixers fans, but they used to make fun of that nigga's name. But nonetheless, he nixed the trade basically because
he failed his physical or something.
According to him, in the since it's happened, he failed it on purpose apparently, because he said that he didn't think that him and AI going there would be good for either of them. So he purposely failed the drug. That's what purposely failed the physical.
I think I actually did watch that one now that you say it, because I consumed that information from somewhere and I don't remember where.
But what made it so crazy is that apparently it was a wake-up call for AI. I didn't realize. I knew that him and Larry Brown had issues. I didn't realize just how tumultuous his time in Philly really was ever since they hired him. Like, Larry Brown got offered the UNC job. It ended up going to Roy because basically Larry's a UNC guy too, but apparently he was taking too big of a pay cut to jump from the NBA to college, so he didn't want to do it.
I don't blame him.
There were a lot of layers on what was going on in the 2000, that 2000s NBA era, which I guess could even lead us really into the first topic of Rasheed Wallace and the whole Kevin Andre Iguodala, the other AI.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because Iggy said that Rasheed would be better than Giannis if he played in this era. And I think Rasheed could have been better than Giannis. Excuse me. Hold on. Rasheed could have been better than Giannis in his own era if Rasheed would have taken basketball more seriously, if he would have had the dedication of Giannis. So I don't care what era you put either of them in. I don't think Rasheed could eclipse Giannis, because I don't think Rasheed had the intangibles necessary to be what Giannis became. Skill-wise, you could argue Rasheed is one of the most skilled power forwards ever.
He's the first real stretch four.
Stretch four, but also, here's what I didn't know.
Of the modern era, what a stretch four back then was in the modern era.
So here's what's
in the now era of basketball.
So here's what some teammates said about Sheed, and actually Cowherd talked about it too, because he covered Sheed when he was up in Portland.
Yeah.
He was like, bro, Sheed would be shooting left-handed threes, like right-handed threes.
Rasheed Wallace, when I look back at him, I remember when he was a Blazer. For one, because before he went to Detroit, a lot of people miss out
Hawks for a day.
For the Hawks for a day. Yeah, and I remember it though. But I
was happy.
Me too, because we had finally got an all-star player in Atlanta. And then they traded him the next fucking day. But the fact that he even suited up in today's NBA, something like that happens, the player doesn't even suit up.
No.
Because they're like, get me out of here type shit. And I don't know if she would have actually stayed and played, but yes, that's what made it so crazy. So I remember Rasheed Wallace with Damon Stoudemire, Bonzi Wells, even a little earlier, obviously Scottie Pippen was there.
Yeah. Smitty, Sabonis,
Smith was there.
Brian Grant.
Yeah, man.
Zebo.
Young Zebo, yes.
Yeah, Jermaine O'Neal.
That's exactly what I was going to get at. Young Zebo. And I want to say...
And Jermaine O'Neal.
And I want to say was because that was at the end of his career. Hold on.
They should have beat the Lakers, by the way.
They didn't.
But one of the things about Sheed that, and I heard Sheed talk about this, I think when he was on Knuckleheads, he was a team first guy. So Sheed was never interested in going and getting a bucket like he could have.
Okay. And that's what I was just trying to see too. And I forgot who was coaching before. Nate McMillan was the coach. He probably wasn't the coach of Sheed.
Mike Dunleavy.
Okay, yeah, Mike Senior.
Yeah, Senior, yeah.
The thing with Sheed is this. When I look back at Rasheed Wallace, he's a perfect storm of what a stretch four is today. He's 6'10". He can shoot threes. He has the attitude of Draymond Green. Maybe like in terms of a defender of the team, like maybe even better, really, because that nigga, you want to start talking about somebody that didn't give a fuck about getting technical. It was him. Well,
hey, here's the thing, though. So he had Donahue on his podcast with Bonzi Wells. And they were talking, and he was talking about how, for one, once he developed his reputation, the referees was pretty much like, hey, bro, fuck you. Like, you're getting easy texts. But another reason why, and Donahue actually agreed with him, that he got a lot of texts is because he knew the rule book forwards and backwards. So they would make a call, and then he would tell them what the rule book actually said about that call and tell them why they're wrong. And people don't understand, or they forget this, but these referees have egos too. And you're not going to keep showing me up and telling me I'm not doing my job right.
And they get paid well. Most people don't even realize referees make $250,000 plus.
Like
in pro sports.
My last men's league game, I got tossed. You know why? A ref made a call and I said, you can't make that effing call.
And he said, that's it.
That was the first one.
Oh.
Like, she didn't even look me in my face. She just said T. Then somebody did something, and I was like, I was walking away. I was like, man, that's bullshit. Like, you can't call that
shit. All right.
Yeah, and I wasn't even talking to him. I had my back to him and everything. I was walking to the bench. He's like, hey, you're out of here. I was like, bro, I was talking to my teammate. You were talking about me.
I am curious as I'm about to search it, most technical fouls in the NBA.
Russell Westbrook's up there high on that list.
Wow. Look who's number one. No. Karl Malone.
Talking about the freak?
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go online. I would have thought if this was a question on Jeopardy, I would have said Karl Malone 1, Barkley 2, which actually, you know what? He would have been a good guess. Sheed 3, Gary Payton 4, and these are all the shit. I didn't realize Karl Malone was a shit talker.
I didn't either.
Dennis Rodman 5. I mean, these are the enforcer shit talkers. Dirk 6.
Really? He was probably getting the wine and text though.
Anthony Mason 7. Westbrook 8.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard 9. I knew Dwight had to have been up there. KG 10.
That list makes sense to me.
It makes a ton of sense. Well, the only person on here, honestly, it is Karl Malone. I'm a little surprised Karl Malone is number one.
I'm surprised about
that. I wouldn't guess that he was on the list. Like, I mean, how many fights was Karl Malone getting into? Karl Malone's a big fucking dude.
He's LeBron.
If anything, I would have never thought. Well, and then of course Dirk being on here makes no sense. I would have thought Shaq maybe was on the list.
Yeah.
But KG, Rodman, Payton.
Draymond, he'll catch the list eventually.
He'll get up. As I say, he'll get on it. Sheed, Barkley, those guys make a ton of sense.
Yeah, especially Gary Payton, because all the Gary Payton stories you hear is he talking to everybody. Like Jordan different.
No, I'm saying he would talk shit to Jordan.
But yeah, not even just talking.
Like finals, think about it.
What was it? It was somebody was telling the story with Gary Payton on the podcast. It may have been, I forgot which podcast it was, but they were saying like GP, he'll be dribbling the ball up the court, calling the play, man, hand checking him. Hey, ref, call that goddamn hand check, man. He hand checking me. Call that. Hey, now y'all run this. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, you can't guard me. Get off me. Like, They say like GP is doing all of this stuff like continuously the entire game. So yeah, man, GP get 10.
Bay Area nigga.
Yeah.
Straight
I
up.
like GP though. I like his son too, because his son is made of
His
that
son
same
is
stuff
made
that
for
he
his
is.
role.
Huh?
His son is really made for his role. He's a great bench
Got bounce.
guard
He got
who-
bounce.
who can jump, plays defense, and will go to the hole strong.
And makes
He's not a
open
three-point
threes.
shooter or nothing. He's not
He
somebody.
can make an open corner three.
He can make it, but I'm just saying that's not even what you're asking him to do.
No. All right, so let's go back to this.
Tucker, by the way, would be another person I would think would possibly be on a list like this. But go ahead.
Let's get back to the sheet conversation. So what we wanted to flip this conversation to is players who played in the wrong era. Let me see if I got the right notebook here, because I had a list.
I can name one off rip.
What you got?
And just because of, the three ball in general, and actually, this was something I saw on YouTube too. I think Larry Bird probably, if he shot more threes, because that's the issue with his statistics. Larry Bird is like 100 and something on all-time 3-point list, which is crazy, right? When you think about it, because growing up, most people think Larry Bird is the greatest. Before Ray Allen, all those guys, most people, Larry Bird was always kind of, it seemed like, the consensus greatest 3-point shooter ever.
Until Steph Curry, really.
That's what I'm saying. 3-point shootouts, including one where he wore the fucking warm-up and nailed out of a possible 32, like 29 or 30. I mean,
you want to hear something crazy? He averaged less than 2 threes a game.
That's what I'm trying to say, though. That's what I'm saying. He is somebody that, based on what is kind of myth a little about him, urban myth a little, just because if he only averaged 2 a game, it's really hard to say whether or not how great of a 3-point shooter he is. But if an offense was made around him to shoot threes, and you had Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale setting screens for him to get open to do it, come on, man. He would have been way more successful in today's league.
Oh, yeah.
Peja Stojakovic would be looked at as a greater player today. He wouldn't be Davis Bertans because Peja was actually an all-star shooting threes. And he got to play on the tail end when it was getting ready to turn the page to that. But with Dallas,
Peja averaged 17 for his career.
Peja would be, get a good, I don't know who to compare him to.
He averaged 4.2 a game.
Attempts.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to do a good comparison. Who's a fucking good 3-point shooter? It doesn't have to be European. He's 6'10"?
Yes. Gosh. He doesn't really have a comp.
He doesn't, and I can't.
Like, there's not a comp who's
just like a Davis Bertans average 23 points a game.
Good Davis Bertans.
Yeah. Rashard Lewis. Because to me, Rashard Lewis is kind of Rasheed Wallace-esque. They're like similar guys in my book in terms of play. Rashard Lewis was a multi-time All-Star, and then, of course, with Orlando, he remade his career, and he was arguably the second best player on that team. I know Hidu and Jameer were great. They were really good that year. They were really good. But Rashard Lewis was really the guy that stirred the drink, after Dwight. So
that team was light years ahead of itself. And if that team had a Steve Kerr coaching them with the knowledge we have today, they would have busted Kobe's ass. Because Dwight, you couldn't run high pick and roll and make Dwight the mismatch. He was not the weak link on defense.
But you realize too, Bynum, many considered Andrew Bynum the second best center in the NBA at the time.
Yeah, but the difference between second best was the distance between me and you walking.
That's true.
I mean, me and you are close. You know what I'm saying? We're close to each other.
We're in the same
compared to me and Josh.
Right. That is true. That's fair. That's fair. It wasn't even, but even more reason why Dwight should have been on the NBA 75, because that's just how much better he was than everybody at the time.
Hey, let me give you an NBA player who should have been who's playing in the wrong time.
Go for it.
Gilbert Arenas.
Absolutely.
John Wall's speed, Dame Lillard's jumper.
Dame Lillard's jumper, and then I think the confidence of
2016 Steph.
Yeah, because I mean, when the nigga used to do the hibachi, you know what I mean? Like, I used to love Gilbert Arenas.
When he told Luke Walton that he was gonna bust Kobe's ass, and then did it, gave him the 50 ball, then came back, beat him, and gave him a 30 ball the next time.
He was cold as fuck, man. I used to love Gilbert Arenas. There was a Adidas ad that used to stick out to me so much when I was a kid. I used to have like a composite, one of those black and white composite notebooks.
Yeah.
I used to draw. I wish I could find that fucking notebook, man. I really do. I used to draw up plays when I was a kid. I had a book by Rudy Tomjanovich and everything. And it would like dots were like pass. I used to love Gilbert Arenas. One of the quotes from his commercial that stuck out to me was the reason why he picked the number 0, because he said he always felt like he was a 0. And for him, it was motivation because nobody believed in him. And so, like, for me, I used to try and take that same chip on my shoulder for basketball because it just seemed like, there would be, especially when I was younger, there'd be some leagues like I'd play in and like do very well, but then there was other leagues where I wouldn't play. And I was just kind of like, all right, like, what is this? And like, I might do well in practice or whatever, but that shit used to motivate me and I used to love shooting long threes too. Like, you know what I mean? Like doing that. And at my brother's games, Fleming and them, Callahan, like at halftime, it's me, Colin, Justice, and Jordan. I'm shooting half court shots. We making them almost every game, like doing it. But he used to inspire me a lot.
Think about this. I think Gilbert, because for a lot of different reasons, he's improperly remembered, and he's one of the reasons why I like the new media. The players getting to talk about certain stuff. He was the best. He was the best player on that Arizona team. They all admit it, and he went second round.
And he dated Drea Michelle.
And he dated the other Javon chick, Gavon, his baby mama.
Oh yeah.
Gilbert was one of them too.
I know those league guys used to have too much fun, bro. Like
they said, Gilbert used to like he said one time they had like a curfew or whatever, they couldn't go out. So Gilbert, like for his teammates, not even for himself, he brought the strip club to the hotel for him. And what I like about
after he got paid,
which time? Got paid. I mean, his first max was 84.
That was him leaving Golden State to go to Washington, right? But I think it was that $100 million contract.
Hey, so funny story about that contract, right?
He only was worth like a year of it because the rest of it he didn't do. He was always hurt. There was a gun thing.
But here's the thing: the owner told him, "I'm giving you this contract because you made a promise to me that you would get us past this Michael Jordan era, and you did. So I'm giving you this as a thank you." Like he knew he was already cooked. And when you talk about bad contracts and overpayments and bad GMs, don't get me wrong, Ernie Grunfeld was terrible. But that particular contract, that was a Gilbert to owner negotiation.
Shit reminds me of another DC team that gave out a bad contract semi around the same time. And you know who I'm talking about. What is one of the worst NFL contracts of all time that the Redskins, yes, the Redskins, not
Albert Haynesworth.
Yes, sir. It was around like that same time. Albert Haynesworth got like 7 years, like a 92 or 100 million or something. It was something. Did he
even pass the physical?
Fucking deserve.
Did he pass the physical?
He had to. He ended up getting the contract was real and he was done.
What happened to Albert Haynesworth?
Man, he had to have been out of the league in 2 years after that contract, maybe 3, just because they were like, man, we got to get him to at least play some of this more guaranteed money off. Like
he ran 4.82 at the combine. Oh yeah, he did go to the Patriots after that, huh?
Yeah, but of course they would take a retread that had talent. I mean, because Bill's gonna get. I mean, think about it. I'm not saying Randy Moss was cooked. But think about it. Before Randy went to New England, some people talked about him with the Raiders like he was done.
I mean, he looked like it.
He went on to have arguably the greatest wide receiver season of all time, his very first year.
Went crazy.
He had 23, 24 receiving touchdowns, 1,800 yards. With Wes Welker also having 1,000 yards, 100 catches. And then Dante Stallworth probably had 800 yards. But then again, Brady 5,050. So it makes sense.
Dog, listen, like in Oakland, he had 1,005 receptions year one, 1,005 yards year one, 553 year two. Goes to New England, 1,493, 1,008, 1,264.
And that first year, though, it was like 23 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, 23 tubs.
Yeah, man. And that's
160 targets and 98 catches.
Still a record today.
Yeah, Brady was feeding him.
But point, even with the Gilbert thing, Gilbert is a guy that could definitely have played in today's league.
Gotcha.
I'll give you one that won't be as popular.
Okay.
But the reality of it is this, especially the way that team played and how he was used slightly before that era began. Sean Marion is another guy that I think translates better today. To me, Sean Marion's basically Tobias Harris, but with all-stars, right? Like Sean Marion made the all-star team multiple times in Phoenix. He's probably a 3 or 4 time all-star. And he had one of the ugliest jump shots ever.
I don't feel comfortable with you comparing Sean Marion to Tobias Harris. I think that's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful to Sean Marion. That is true. But I'm just simply saying, I'm talking about what type of guy they were. Sean Marion was a guy where on the best season of his career might have averaged 22 points a game.
Sean Marion's 2-time All-NBA. Tobias Harris will never be All-NBA.
Team though, right?
Yeah, third team, but it's still All-NBA.
But I'm just saying, what's his career high season? 22?
I'm looking it up right now. 21.8. Look at you.
So does that not sound Tobias Harris like to you? And I get it, the Matrix, right?
But the Matrix had straps too.
And that is why he was All-NBA third team, because he could fucking defend.
And he's
on a team that was running gun that he could not afford to not be a good defender because Steve Nash is getting blown by.
And he could shoot the three when he played for Phoenix.
And Dallas, I'm sure.
Let's see his Dallas three.
Wasn't he on that championship team too? No,
yeah.
Right after.
His championship team, he shot 150 from the three that year. But in Phoenix, in their good years, he was shooting. One year he shot 393, 39%, then 38%, 34%, 33%. No, those are good 3-point numbers back then. Like we weren't expecting people to shoot 40 back then.
But he's a guy that could have translated because of his size. He's 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, he could play small ball 5 today.
Depending on who you, yes. All in all, I agree. Yes.
Hey, I got somebody for you who's I think is still in the NBA today. They played in the wrong era. Blake Griffin.
What do you mean he could play today?
No, he's playing today. You send Blake Griffin back to the 80s.
He's in the wrong era. I think he could have played in the early 2000s.
No, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. He would have thrived.
He's Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
And better. Maybe more athletic and possibly just a better player altogether.
Absolutely.
Definitely more athletic. He's more athletic than Sean Kemp.
Hey, so I pulled some guys from some other sports too. Would you like to touch those sports?
Let me do one more basketball, but yes.
Okay.
Just because I only had one more basketball guy.
Okay.
Wait, it's losing my mind.
We do so much.
Maybe it was the opposite direction. I was gonna do something similar to what you said.
Okay.
A guy that's out of water. No, hold on. And this is not even a hot take, but this player had success in his era and is a Hall of Famer. But I think that he would be just as successful today. How about that? Kevin Garnett. I think he would have developed a better 3-point shot. He could be just like Joel Embiid today in reality. In his prime,
I like that.
Kevin Garnett could easily play in today's NBA. He's easily somebody that could, and only because he's not super duper obvious, like Kobe could play today too, right? Like Kobe could play in today.
Kobe could play any day.
AI would be more Russell Westbrook-ish in a sense of
this era wouldn't be good for AI.
It wouldn't. But he could still get his on really bad teams.
Yeah.
I think Russ would still score the ball, even at his size. He would, because Trae Young scores the ball. And AI could develop, he'd become a better 3-point shooter.
And AI scored at the rim when you could still clothesline people. And there was no space.
Right. AI would average 15 free throws a game.
Yeah. Bruh.
But KG was the one person in my mind that I thought about, and I said, in his prime, he would still be an animal today. He'd be a hybrid of Joel Embiid and Giannis in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
And like success.
And you know, that's what I was trying to get across to your brother when we were talking about Westbrook yesterday. And, you know, he called him a top 20 player in the league today. I'm like, no. And he was giving me this.
He doesn't realize that 10 of the top 20 players are fucking point guards anyways. And that's the same position that he plays. So he certainly.
And then he started giving me the stats. And that's where, you know, the analytics people lose me in some of their deeper stats. Bro, you got to watch the game. Like, you have to watch the game. And you can accumulate great numbers, but especially if you're the primary ball handler, look at people's facial expressions.
And let me tell you, this is where I would agree with him. I think, yes, will Russ, as long as things stand pat and Kyrie Irving's not a Laker, do I think that Russ will have a better year this year?
Yes.
I do. I actually do think he will. I think that it was a bad fit type of thing. But at the same time, Russ clearly, he isn't a guy, his style of play is not winning.
No.
And the reason why it isn't winning is because it's impossible for him to almost sacrifice, because he's never really, yes, he's athletic. He was, and he's getting older. Yes, athletically, he could always come down and track down and block somebody's shit. He's not really a defensive player, and he can't shoot. And those are the two issues. And if you can't do those in the NBA as a guard, he's probably a great rebounding guard still, but like that still comes with his athleticism, like, and coming to the ball, like running to get the ball. His game just doesn't translate very well today. Like it just, and especially with him aging, he's not as athletic. Like,
and the crazy thing about him is his last year in college, he was all Pac-10 or all Pac-12, whichever they were, defense. He was all Pac-12 defense. He has the skill set to be a great defender, but doesn't. And he was once an 80% free throw shooter, and now he can't shoot free throws, because even if Russ could shoot free throws, he could run into the brick wall all game and shoot free throws. And if he could shoot a three, if Russ could shoot a three at 30%, he'd still be a high-end NBA player, because you still have to guard it. You ain't got to guard this shit ever.
It's a broke jump shot. The only thing you're worried about with Russ is him going to the hole, and then he doesn't shoot free throws even really that well.
Exactly.
He's like a 70%, 71% free throw. No offense to LeBron, he's basically just like, well, LeBron's a little bit better of a free throw shooter, but like
barely. LeBron can't shoot.
Them niggas, they don't make their free throws either. So like, bro, the Lakers, they're going to be better this year. I do believe they're going to be a playoff team. But go to the era for other sports, guys, that you think.
All right, so real quick, baseball, I just put the steroid era, because the steroid era, they were still playing baseball the classic way it's supposed to be played. You know, bunts, doubles. You know, your power hitters give you home runs. Now we're talking about exit velocity and angles. Bro, you know what Bonds would do? Because, again, people forget that Barry Bonds had a high batting average. Like, he was hitting jacks, But Barry Bonds was a good
His
hitter.
career is like 280.
Like
Career. And that includes when he fell
wasn't
off
good.
the last 3 years trying to break the fucking record. Like, his batting average is like 280.
Imagine Barry Bonds showing up to the game saying, if I strike out, no one cares.
Do you realize that people don't even realize how dominant he was? He played in the era with
7 MVPs, bro.
Yes, and that's my point. Bro, he is Michael Jordan of baseball.
Hold on, here, look, 14 All-Stars, 7 MVPs, 8 Gold Gloves, 12 Silver Sluggers, 3 Hank Aaron Awards, 2-time batting champion,
what about
2-time home run leader, RBI leader. Come on, bro.
What about those records? Not only is he all-time home run leader.
Oh, his records. Home run record. Home runs in the season record. Career base on balls in the season. On base percentage in the season. Slugging percentage in the season. If Barry, if they said Barry hit a home run or strikeout like they're saying now.
Young Barry Bonds, and then let's talk about young Barry Bonds. And I didn't watch young Barry Bonds, but young Barry Bonds, even based on the stuff that I saw with him with the Pirates and then early with the Giants, like, he was fast as fuck.
Right, he was 40-40.
That's what I'm saying. He's like Ronald Acuna, but maybe even a better hitter. Like, and Ronald Acuna is a good hitter. Like, Ronald, that's why I understand why everybody sucks Ronald Acuna off. Ronald Acuna is that dude. You know, Ronald Acuna in his second year had 41 home runs?
I didn't, but I'm not shocked.
But does he even look like he has that power? No. Like, when you look at
Barry's career,
guy.
Barry's career average was 298.
Okay, so I stand corrected. I said 280.
This man did 370 in a season. 370 in the season with how many homers did he have in the 370 season?
At least 40. At least
46. 46. His last year, he hit 28 jacks.
Great player. I mean, great player. I remember watching him break the record too. It was on ESPN.
Which one? 73 or 716?
The breaker, the one that he broke. I actually still have the Sports Illustrated article. I have like a collection of sports stuff. I still have it. I used to collect Sports Illustrated all the time, but I remember when he did it. I was in my parents' kitchen. My mom was down there, so was Justice, and we watched it on our kitchen, the TV we got in the kitchen, and like
privilege.
I knew you were gonna say. I swear to God, it's a small fucking TV. It's like, I promise, it's not even.
Bro, I got two TVs in my living room right now.
It's so fucking small. Okay. Like, yeah, it's a small ass TV, but nonetheless, and it sat in like a corner. It was a weird setup, but nonetheless, I remember watching that and thinking like, wow, I just saw history. Like, this is a big deal. Considering Babe Ruth broke that record in the 30s. Like, this is a big fucking, like, there's nobody that has a chance of breaking that record. Because if it stood for that long in baseball, and we want to talk about steroids and all this other stuff, nobody's catching that.
Bring the roids back. Just pick the one. Hey, you make a list of acceptable roids, bring them back.
Let me see. And you did baseball. I'll give you a football player.
Oh, I got a list of football players too. You can. Of course, I'm ready for you.
Dan Marino. So we don't have to go in on Dan Marino. We know Dan Marino would be successful today. Let's do the more.
Sure about that?
Is
Justice sure about that?
Oh yeah. Let's do the more underrated guys that would have had way more success in today's NFL. I'll go ahead and say it, at least from a wide receiver standpoint. Man, Randy Moss would have a field day in today's NFL.
Randy Moss could run across the middle in today's NFL.
I can't think of – that's what I'm saying. I can't think of even – Randy Moss in today's NFL would be superior – if Devontae Adams just got the 99 rating in Madden.
Randy Moss gets 100.
Yeah, like I don't see how not, because Randy, although he was a great deep threat, jump balls, of course, because of his height, he would have really probably became a better route runner. And
I don't even know
he
if
wasn't a bad route runner. I'm just saying he would have been a better, because like you said, he could have went across the middle a little bit more. And I think with today's quarterbacks too, like look at the QBs he played with. Like Dante Culpepper was right. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Even without Dante, I mean, I know he got Randall Cunningham early in his career, but that was the old Randall Cunningham. And then I'm sure Jeff Farrat was throwing him the ball for a little bit.
Look here, he had Brady, and he would have had more seasons closer to his 07 season in today's NFL, especially if he had a good quarterback. And the way players are empowered now to
force his way to a great team.
Yeah.
Where he could be playing in Tampa.
Hey, I like your Randy Moss piece. I got a receiver who's also a Hall of Famer who I put on my list. Actually, a tight end. Shannon Sharp.
Yes, because he's more wide receiver-esque.
He's more wide receiver, and imagine him getting the Kelsey treatment. They're like, hey, you are our possession receiver. Oh yeah, and we know you can go for big plays. We don't care. Like we're not looking for our Z first. We are looking for you.
And you could argue too. I mean, I remember, these are one of my earliest memories of life when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl the first time.
And Shannon Sharp was talking crazy about Ray Buchanan.
Mm-hmm. And Eugene Robinson, both of them. And obviously, Eugene ended up having the prostitute scandal the night before the Super Bowl. That's got to be like one of – you realize that he wouldn't have played in that game the next day? Like, the NFL wouldn't have allowed it? Like, he could not have played in that game?
Hold on, let me just play this real quick.
Is it them talking about – and then Ray Buchanan, Big Play Ray was talking about his mouth and like a horse.
Hold on. What's going on here? Why are we not hooked up here? Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah. I done seen it. Play it. I want to play it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And
my Bluetooth's not on. What's going on here?
He is definitely one of those guys that could have made that transition, because you could argue, and that was even towards the end of his Bronco tenure, obviously, right? Because he ended up going to Baltimore a few years later, and then that was the end of his career.
He came back to Denver to retire. I mean, he played with Denver, but he came back.
Yeah. And he definitely could have worked. I think that at least based on what I've seen, a guy like Steve Young, Aaron McNair, oddly enough, too, just because when I think of Steve Young, I don't know why I think of Steve McNair, too.
So you said Steve Young. I got another lefty on my list, too.
Steve Young clearly probably could have played today because he's mobile. But, Steve McNair, and Josh's a big Steve McNair guy. He loves him and Eddie George. And I get it. He was in – I guess that's the first time he moved to Tennessee. And they were the guys there. Aaron McNair, in today's league, he had a very strong arm. He didn't run he was more of a pocket passer than he was runner.
But he could run.
successful today.
Yeah, he could have, and he's a big body.
Oh, I know he ain't talking with the big teeth in his mouth.
The only thing hiding that y'all can't see sometimes is when he's when he got that helmet on the field. When he got that helmet on the field, I'm telling you, you can't really see how bad that guy looks.
I've never called anybody ugly. Do I think people are ugly? Yeah, I think he's ugly, but I never said that. Just said he started it.
Shannon think he's pretty. He think he's pretty in the face. He might have a body though. Everybody look at his body and be like, "Oh, Shannon." But I'm telling you what, man, if you got a grill like that, man, I'm telling you, total reconstruction.
I'm not gonna get into a peeing contest with a skunk. You'll lose every time. But I will say this: on Sunday, he get an opportunity to back up what he said. If he's my friend, no. Did I ever view him as a friend? No. Did I ever view him as an acquaintance? No. Do I like him? No. If I see him in a snowstorm, his truck is broke down, mine is going perfectly. Would I pick him up? No. Other than that, I could care less about Ray Buchanan.
Let me tell you what I love about Shay and hearing those clips.
Look, if Darren Stewart had hit Tom Brady.
It's the same Shea today. That's
it
what I
is.
love about it. And he won the battle of the words. He grilled fucking Ray. Ray wasn't really saying much of anything, honestly. He just was trying to say that his mouth was fucked up. But like outside of that, Shea sounds like the same Shea today talking about shit.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't get when they see that show, when they get upset and they talk about Shannon acting a certain way for the cameras. I'm like, brother, did y'all not see his sideline when they was beating the team and he got on the phone and said, I need to call the National Guard? Like
that or Hard Knocks, that first Hard Knocks, obviously. Like,
bro, you know they got a 30 for 30 for that team.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
It hadn't came out. It's done. It's done. They've been recorded it.
Yeah, because Goose is in it. I see. Who just
and Shannon, he was recording from wherever they was. I think they did it in Baltimore. He was recording the show for a week from now.
Shannon Sharp, that's a good one. That's a really good one too, especially because of the tight end position and of course, even when I think of tight, of course, we all know Tony G would.
Look here, I'm so much of a Shannon Sharp guy. After him and Tony G had their little Fox beef, and Tony don't come on Undisputed no more. I don't even want to talk about Tony G, and I know he was a Falcon. He did great stuff for us, but
Tony, and you know what's so funny? Tony was basically all in a weird way. I don't think he went in as a Falcon.
He shouldn't have. He should have went in as a Chief.
Yeah, but he talked very highly of the Falcons in the organization because he liked Arthur Blank.
Yeah.
And of course, Matt Ryan, I mean, I think his time in Kansas City, Trent Green, I know.
Are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Oh, boy, I'm excited. We're about, 3 weeks away from the first preseason game. But,
bro, I got that text the other day about coming to the practice at the Benz.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah. And I'm happy you said something about the club being having free food this year, because I'm actually going to email my rep tomorrow and say, hey, can you upgrade me the club access?
What's the worst that could happen?
All he can do is say no.
Exactly.
And if I say, can you upgrade me, and he's gonna ask for more money.
And then see how much more it is, because I don't remember, man, they just auto draft. I see the charge, but they just auto draft. And then it's, and then ours is for all 4 tickets. Like we got 2 on the other side, but then we got so I don't even think it ain't that bad, but like it is. I mean, it's worth it. I love it.
If I could eat
access to seeing Kanye live there, like there's like so much shit that comes with it. Like I told you, I got the Georgia Oregon tickets already. We got college football playoff tickets because the semifinal is going to be here. So like the perks are there. The perks.
Yeah, and those are the perks that are making me consider upgrading to the PSL.
You can sell. Now, hold on. Don't let them trick you into don't buy the PSL. I don't know if that's what comes with the PSL. That PSL is not worth it. Like, don't do it. Literally, next year is our last year of paying it all. Took us 5 years. That PSL for those seats is $25,000 each. So that's $50,000 for 2 tickets. And like, but the price could have changed on it now. I have no fucking idea. So many people defaulted on those PSLs. Like, I have no idea. I really don't know. We're at the end of the road now with paying for it. So I know that next year they always pull it in February or March, like literally right before free agency. Yeah. They pull that amount, and we'll be done with PSLs. We will officially own the seats that we have for as long as that stadium is standing. And like, I don't know, that shit was a ploy, and they just so happened to have came off the Super Bowl when they were selling it. So like, there's the FOMO aspect of that. Even for us as people that have had we had tickets for 30 fucking years, like, but there was a FOMO aspect to it because it was just like, well, damn, is this the only way we can retain our seats? And we're coming from a goddamn suite. We had a suite in that bitch. And like, that is not worth it, in my opinion. I just buy the
Fair.
season ticket because
That's
until
fair.
they're good, you don't have to worry about a PSL. You'll always be able to get whatever seats you want.
True. Yeah, and I like my seats.
I need to come to your seats at least for one of the games just to go down, just to even.
just
Because
come
I don't
hang
know. I seen where you put it up like on video, but I hadn't sat there.
Oh yeah, I'm right there by
You were
Pastor.
in the 100s over, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm by Pastor Troy and Big Tugger.
Yeah.
Like we make eye contact during the game. I'd be like,
And they point being, even getting into that, Tony G loved the Falcons organization. He spoke super duper highly, and like I thought the Falcons loved Tony G too. Like he was to me the first nigga we ever, outside of when we traded up to get Julio, and we didn't even know who we knew Julio was good.
I wanted AJ Green.
I did too. Me too. And obviously AJ got drafted before him. And I think that everybody agreed that, damn, man, let's get him. Like, and maybe because Matt Stafford was the one throwing him the ball, while it was like John Parker Wilson / I guess John Parker Wilson is really who only threw Julio the ball. No.
You got the McCarron, did he?
Or McCarron. It was either McCarron or McElroy. I forgot.
Oh, hey, Steph was making some LeBron jokes at the ESPYs today. It looks like he had on the AB boots.
Wait, the ESPYs is on?
I guess so. Hold on, I'm gonna play the clip real quick.
The second NBA player to host this award show, which is kind of crazy to think about. LeBron James, he hosted this award show back in 2007 after losing in the NBA Finals. So yes, you guessed it. This feels better. This feels better.
Hey, bro, Steph up there with a drink in his hand and the AB boots on.
They need to get better guys than Steph. I get it. He's coming off the high.
Steph's funny. Like Steph is actually funny.
He's no Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning.
No. But here's my thing on Steph. The white sports media has miscast Steph as this like innocent, docile human being, and Steph is a nigga.
Through and through.
Like Steph's a nigga.
Through and through.
Like that shimmy, the turnaround before the three goes in, that's nigga shit.
He plays the player.
Bro, that's some stuff that if they were doing it, if he did that in 2005, they would say, get this off of TV. What did Joe Buck say?
What?
About the Randy Moss Moon?
That's a disgusting act. So hold on. So I have ESPN up. It's not on ESPN. So what is it, on ABC?
Shit, I hope not.
It has to be.
Hey, let me shoot another guy at you who played in the wrong era.
Go for it.
Cam Newton. He should have played in like the 70s. You know, back when it was chunk it deep, 55% completion rate, like the Terry Bradshaw days.
Yes. Okay. I can agree with you from a passing standpoint. And he would have just been a freak running the ball.
Yeah, he would have been a Hall of Famer if he played back then. Another one for you. Mike Vick. Imagine Mike Vick playing today and a team actually gearing the system, giving him the RPOs, giving him the play action, not forcing him to play in the traditional West Coast offense, which is like,
Greg Knapp.
Yeah, that was not him. Like, you could have gave him a Shanahan spinoff of the West Coast with the heavy play action, but you could. I wouldn't. I would want him with Andy Reid today, because the Andy Reid that he had
got the best
Andy Reid of today.
So, and that's why I was going to say Vic, Eagles Vic. More so. Here's the thing. We had the bona fide athletic freak. And he was still an athletic freak in Philly, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but he had been in prison for 2 years.
Yeah, it was post-prison. And, we don't even know how much better Mike Vick could have became if he never went to prison. Who's to say, even in Atlanta, he didn't. I think that was a wake-up call for him, and he did start taking that shit more serious, because he knew that even once he got out, all them taxes, all that stuff.
Parlay Pete.
Yeah.
If you are the fastest person on the field with the strongest arm, and you got the Nike deal, like you selling sneakers, He was selling kicks, like kicks I got in my closet. He was selling kicks.
He was
He
one.
had to, what was it, the American Airlines or United? He had the airline. I think they have the business now. They got consolidated.
AirTran.
He had the AirTran deal.
Had that too, but
Matt Ryan?
Matt Ryan was AirTran.
Yeah, he took. Yeah, he had the AirTran deal. He flew everywhere for free. Are you really gonna tell me I gotta come in here and study? And I'm gonna like study for real? And he done got it out the mud. You gotta understand, he ain't like some of these players who came from stability, where they can actually focus on football, being the best football player ever. Nah, bro, he rich now. He dumb rich, $100 million man. First one to do it twice.
Yeah.
You want me to come study?
That's true. And I guess, you don't sit up and put yourself truly in their position and why things can get that way.
BMF era in Atlanta?
But that's
and you want me to watch film?
Well, crunk music in the start of trap music. T.I. wants me in the video. All I got to do is, that type of shit.
Yeah, please.
Mike,
I'm hanging out with Big Meech on the regular.
Mike was special and still is. I think, people can think what they want to think just because I'm objectively and subjectively, if that can even coincide in one, telling the truth that Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than him. People can get upset about that all they want. That doesn't mean that Michael Vick doesn't hold a special place in my heart. Like I'd still love Mike Vick, man. I had a Mike Vick jersey too.
Everybody had a Mike Vick jersey, bro. I remember one of my years in rec league, I was playing quarterback and I scrambled for a 95. I scrambled for a 95-yarder. Now I wouldn't wear number 7 because I started the season at running back. But I scrambled for a 95-yarder and my coach started calling me AC Vick because I was a lefty. That's one of the biggest compliments I've ever got in my life. At that point, being that young with Vic is Vic, and you get called Vic. Come on, man. And I was playing against Vic Beasley. No, I didn't score a 95-yard against Vic Beasley.
Another Vic. But it's I think his Eagles version would definitely be he'd be a better version of Lamar Jackson.
Yes. You want to hear my best one for this one? My best person, I think.
NFL?
My best NFL guy.
Go for it.
Jamal Adams. A hard-hitting safety that can't cover. Put that boy in 1980s football and just go play against the run.
You want to know what's funny? You said Jamal Adams, and it actually gave me somebody that I was thinking would be better used today in a platoon type system. What about Jamal Charles?
Oh God, yeah, because he wouldn't get all those carries.
And he was somebody that definitely averaged 5 yards a carry. And
imagine Chris Johnson.
He was there when Andy Reid was there, right? But it was at the very end of his career. Like it was literally, he might have had one, tops 2. I know he played with Matt Castle. When Andy Reid first got there. Alex Smith might have had him for a year.
He's from Port Arthur, Texas.
Yeah, well, he went to Texas. If you remember, he was a beast at Texas too.
Let's see, Andy Reid.
Smith's not the all-time leading rusher in today's NFL.
Yeah. He played with Andy Reid. Andy Reid got there in 2013. His last season was 2016.
Yeah, and really those last 2 years, he was probably hurt the entire time. I'm just thinking of versatility in today's league.
I got another one. I think Derrick Henry's playing in the wrong era.
Oh, yeah, because he's like Earl Campbell. Like he's 70, really any era.
Any era but this one. This past happy era.
And he's great in this one, too, but like.
But he's weird, though, right? Because you can also say that this is the best era for him because these linebackers are small.
They're like, fast. He's fast, too.
Yeah, this ain't him going up the middle and got to meet Dick Butkus and Mike Singletary. You know what I mean? Like some heavy linebackers that bring that wood. He got.
No, go ahead.
He got reformed safeties playing linebacker now.
Guess what coach survives in this era?
Who?
Mike Marks.
Oh,
With
God,
the
yeah.
Rams. Oh, my God, bro. He's obviously he's the architect of the greatest show on turf. I know Dick Vermeil is the coach, but he was the OC, and then he became the coach. Hell, Mark Bolger had a 4,035 touchdown year in a Pro Bowl. You know what I mean?
Mike Marks fell off the face of the earth.
He did, and I don't know if it's because he made his shit like a track meet and like he was really only suited for dome, but like I think his offense, especially when you look at Marshall Faulk is also another guy that like
God, yeah.
He could really play in any era. Like Marshall Faulk, as long as he's healthy, Marshall Faulk was a guy. But just thinking of Mike Marks, you give Mike Marks 2 good receivers, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. You give him a versatile running back, Marshall Faulk. And, I mean, Kurt Warner.
Hall of Famer.
He was really good with Bruce Arians, obviously. All right, Bruce Arians wasn't even it was Carson Palmer had Bruce Arians. He had Ken Wisenhunt. Wisenhunt, I think, was Kurt Warner's guy. Warner did have a good year. He had a great year, little stretch there at the end. But we saw how Kurt Warner fell off the face of the earth with the Giants after he left the Rams. And I know injuries were part of that. But Kurt Warner won 2 MVPs with Mike Marks. And, like, Mike Marks would be the equivalent of Lincoln Riley in college football at that point because you're turning a guy that was bagging groceries into a 2-time MVP. So you give Mike Marks an actual talented I'm not saying Kurt Warner clearly was talented, but, like, if you give him a great quarterback, what does he do with Justin Herbert, right? Everybody loves using Justin Herbert as the guy. What can he do with Justin Herbert and Mike Williams and Keenan Allen? And
OC was Todd Haley, though.
For those Cardinals teams with Ken Wisenhunt?
Yeah.
Okay. And those guys are like – because Wisenhunt used to be the Steelers OC, right? With Cowher?
Wisenhunt looks like Cowher. Let me see. What?
I think he was a Steelers OC. Just like Haley was. No. Hey, they might have both came from Pittsburgh. But I know Haley ended up coaching the Chiefs before Andy got
he was a Pittsburgh OC, yeah, from 04 to 06.
Okay,
he's
that's
from Augusta, by the way.
Oh, you said the bus?
No, I think he's from Augusta. Wisenhunt's from Augusta.
Jerome Bettis. It's funny only because that. Oh, just because he popped up on the screen. Aaron Donald plays in any league.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aaron Donald. As long as they say Hut, he plays.
Just like it's odd that Mike D'Antoni doesn't have a coaching job because you would think his system would work in the NBA today. Like,
I don't think they're the job that he wants.
But he got it. He was one of the finalists for the Hornets job.
Yeah, and I think he didn't get
him in. You got Jordan Onen. Like, that kind of seems like a good little trio.
I don't think he was going to get what he wanted, you know? I think he wants a ready-made roster. Then you got Miles out here.
That issue. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But it could be a good thing because they haven't rescinded the qualifying offer. And obviously he's not going to get extended. But the question is any NBA team ready for a PR nightmare if they get
Lakers
a contract? They don't have the money, so good for them. But next year, there's a chance you could lose them if this stuff clears up because he's going to be like, y'all didn't believe me, like type shit. But think about D'Antoni with LaMelo. LaMelo, even without Miles Bridges or with a troubled Miles Bridges, LaMelo with D'Antoni probably is all NBA second team next year, easy. Because he probably is going 26, 9, and 8.
Third, because the guards are too deep.
His numbers would be better than Trey's.
But is he going to win more games?
Scoring-wise, Trey takes a step back this year just because DeJounte's on the team. So scoring-wise, he's going to lose a little bit of his scoring.
He might not, though, because he may play off the ball more and he may get some catch-and-shoot threes.
Then DeJounte's going to average 17, 16. Because he averaged 21 this year.
Yeah, I think DeJounte's going to average in the high teens, low 20s. And Trey's going to average in the mid-20s instead of the high 20s.
26, right? Like
Yeah,
20,
somewhere between 25 and 27.
26, 8, 3.
I don't care about his rebounds. I don't need Trey. I don't need Trey rebounding at all.
That's true. That's true. I'm trying to think just another like coach, because it's not just players, it's coach or even GM. When you think about a guy and how they put together a team, like Bill Polian, right? Bill Polian put together those Bills teams.
Bill Polian's great today. If he can get over quarterbacks who may not be the best pocket passers.
But exactly, and that's his issue. But he's Jim Kelly, right? Peyton Manning, easy kind. It wasn't. I guess at the time it wasn't.
He built the Panthers too, though.
Was he so when he left the Bills, he went to Carolina.
Yeah.
And they had them and the Jaguars, oddly enough, both had kind of like immediate success in the NFL.
Yeah, he was at let me see. He was at the Panthers 95 to 97. Like they weren't great, but he still
They didn't make the NFC Championship one of those years?
Hell if I know. I don't feel like looking it up either. Yeah, I'm not looking that up. I'm sorry. Yeah, they won a division in 96, so
yeah, that's what I thought. Them and the Jaguars both. I'm almost certain that year, they both went to the NFC and AFC championship. It was something that happened. I know the Jaguars AFC championship.
Okay, let's pivot to something else. We were supposed to talk free AOC, but we're gonna do that on the back end. Let's talk a little basketball. You ready to talk some NBA?
Let's do it.
All right, so here's what I got. I got Kyrie and KD. I got Donovan Mitchell. I got just the shit show that's the Lakers. I got the shop. I got Bron playing in the Drew League. You pick one and we'll run.
Run that again. You said I heard Drew Leagues, the KD.
The Kyrie and KD piece.
Naga.
Donovan Mitchell, the Lakers, the shop, and then Bron playing in the Drew League. Which the bottom three kind of all work together.
Let's do D Mitch.
Yo, Danny Ainge is smoking crack, asking for what, seven picks?
He wants 7 pieces of crack rock, clearly.
I mean, Danny Ainge is always trying to get over on somebody. Like, Danny Ainge is a crook, but he's the crook that tells you he's a crook. So I don't know why anybody would do business with Danny Ainge. And Danny Ainge is going to try to ask for more than what he can actually get, or he's going to end up trading Donovan Mitchell for all of these picks. And Donovan Mitchell is going to be on a good team, because a good team is going to be a piece away, and they're going to trade some salary filler, and the agent's going to already have the vet minimum guys who are waiting on the move to happen, and they're going to move him. They're going to give him the picks, and then he's going to be picking in the 20s, and he's going to get nothing, and that's what he deserves.
But I just feel like at the same time, he's done it. He's been on the opposite end of the deal before himself. And obviously he recouped a ton of picks too. He used up KG and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. Ray Allen left kind of on his own merit.
Yeah,
but he used up KG, and then they recouped all his picks, and it ended up working out great for Boston. But he also sent away a ton of everything to get those guys initially.
And he's also drafted poorly.
Didn't he select Tatum and Brown?
Jason Tatum at 3 was a gimme. The worst team in the league would have made that trade.
He saw that there were 2 people that fucked up before him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had the number 1 overall pick, and he traded back.
And I don't think that exactly, because he knew he was going to be able to get him third.
Guess who was running Philly? Mr. Tank It, Mr. Throw It Away.
And he got fired before he could even realize his plan.
Yeah, because he was
smart, but
and then Magic Johnson is talking about putting Lonzo's name in a jersey in the rafters. And LeVar say, my boy's going to the Lakers. The Lakers should have drafted Jason Tatum. But they had a competent front office in LA with real NBA people. They draft Jason Tatum over Lonzo Ball easy.
Could have had Tatum and Ingram on the same team.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Then Bron shows up, and he's not trading the farm for AD. We're adding spare parts, and as LeBron becomes what he is,
or you're trading one of them to get even more rotation guys on good deals, or in adding picks like assets, like you're putting together like a team full.
And as LeBron turns into what he is right now, where he averaged 30 last year, but that was a losing 30.
LeBron will be with those guys, knowing what we know today, of course. LeBron could just be like, man, fuck it. I'll go for 20. Give me 23 and I'll average 12 assists and 8 rebounds.
And that's what I was about to say. LeBron's averaging 22, 23. Tatum's giving you 25 and Ingram's giving you like 20. But on any given night, anybody can go for 40.
Yep. That'd be a fucking scary team today.
I wonder if I could like try to make that happen on 2K. Could I like unload Westbrook and assets and street clothes and assets to get Ingram and Tatum with LeBron?
Got no fucking chance.
It's 2K. I'll put it on easy.
With no salary cap too, right? I mean,
no. I'll put a salary cap. But no, I think the Donovan Mitchell thing is interesting because they were like, we want to keep Donovan Mitchell. Then it turned into, we'll entertain trade offers, but we're going to ask for everything. And I think they'll get a decent return, but I also think that Danny Ainge is trying to tank. And front offices who try to tank, especially when they are pretty good, they had a pretty good team, I think they deserve the worst.
So you think that they're all in on Victor Wembanyama?
I hope they are, and I hope they don't get him, because the difference between the NBA and the NFL is in the NFL
it doesn't guarantee you anything.
But not even that. In the NFL, if you offer me a bunch of picks and there's 2 quarterbacks I like, I'll trade back. In the NBA, if there's 3 players in the draft and I'm in that top 3,
I'm not.
There's not a package
unless
that
you're literally giving me an all-star.
There's not, exactly. Unless you're giving me a no shit all-star or all NBA player, there's not a package that I'm gonna take that's gonna make me want to trade back. And when you look at team building in the NBA, this idea of having a bunch of young players on the same timeline, it doesn't actually work. When you have these tanking teams with these bad players, that shit doesn't actually work. You really need a team with players at different points in their career to provide the proper, you need the OG vets who don't plan on playing to police the locker room.
It's only worked one time in NBA history that I can recall recently. I mean, I guess it worked with the Warriors, and they added the right vets at every point. They added the right vets.
They still had vets.
But the only team that actually came up as one before they really even got the vets, it was the Thunder. That Thunder team was nothing but young dudes.
They had Perk
the whole way. They added Perk. That was later though.
But that was the finals team.
Was Perk on the? Okay, Perk was on the finals team.
Yeah.
And was that his first year?
Maybe, probably.
Yeah,
he came from Boston.
Collison, right?
He was an OG that had been there for a while, but he hadn't won shit.
Yeah.
But Perk, because Perk even talked about how they didn't really hang out, and he started putting together team dinners and hang out. Yeah, and like, hey, y'all come to my house today. Like he brought that OG vet shit that they needed.
You sent that. I think because it was the same conversation that he had about how he makes up shit on First Take.
Yeah, it was a JJ Redick conversation.
But yeah, that basically like Harden and Russ were kind of their own thing. KD's a loner. But Harden and Russ, yeah, they were cool, which is obviously why they played together since.
Yeah, but they also grew up in the same city, similar age, bloopers. They knew each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They played in the Pac-12.
And we keep talking about Russ. Let's talk about the Lakers, man. How did you feel about the the report from Chris Haynes that the big three had a phone conversation about how they gonna make this shit work this year.
So what, did they not have any phone conversations since then? I mean, that shit, it was in a weird way, it's almost propaganda. Duh, LeBron is gonna say that's what he wants. If it was as simple as trading Russell Westbrook for Kyrie and the Lakers could do it, they would do it. And like, I think that Russ is not an idiot to where it's no hard feelings to where LeBron's like, it's not that I don't want you, bro. It's just, I don't know. He's a better fit. Like, and
I think
you saw what we went through this year, and you see what it's like to play here and what the people are doing to your wife and kids and talking about your name. Like it would be better if Kyrie were here, and you know, you'll still get paid. Like, you're kind of handicapping the team with your salary. You make more money than me, and we all know I'm better than you. And AD, when healthy, he's certainly better than you. Hell, some people would rather have him hurt over you healthy. So
I wanted Malik Monk over Westbrook last year.
So, but that's what I'm saying. And so it's just like, that's bullshit. Like, we all know that shit's propaganda. Like, LeBron's team, his posse, as Phil Jackson would call it, that report was sent out by LeBron.
Yeah, Rich Paul hit up Chris Haynes.
Either that or Pelinka sent it. One or the other. Somebody sent that. It was either him or LeBron, bro. Or it could have been both.
It didn't come from Russ.
I know that. And it didn't come from AD either.
Well, no, because no one cares what AD has to say.
Exactly. Because he's safer.
But here's the thing.
It either came from the safest person or the GM who, for all intents and purposes, might be on the hot seat going into this. Matter of fact, not even a mic. He is on the hot seat.
He should be.
He is on the hot seat. Even with the Laker connection, he's on the hot seat. And that's word to what Phil told Jeannie. Or Kurt and his wife told Jeannie.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, man. Once you get in bed with LeBron, you have to understand that you're dispensable. Especially if you're not on clutch. You're dispensable.
Exactly. His loyalty
is to winning a championship.
And his team.
Yeah.
Like you said, clutch being the next layer that you have to get through. Outside of that, I mean, look, he didn't force Kyrie to want out of Cleveland, but he damn sure didn't give a fuck if he wanted out.
Exactly. It like, think about this, right? Kyrie's talked about it, that one of his issues was Bron didn't commit to Cleveland. He like, bro, I ain't gonna commit to this shit if you ain't committing to this shit. Like, if you go, I go. Because again, they could have had LeBron, Kyrie, and Paul George if LeBron would have committed to Cleveland. But LeBron knew he wanted to send Bronny to Sierra Canyon. He didn't want to have him going to Cleveland County Day School, you know,
or St. Vincent, St. Mary's, even.
Right. But here's one thing, man. Here's one thing that I think probably happened. Right. I think Bron, AD, and Russ had the conversation. Bron is texting Rich and AD in their group text while they talking. And then Rich goes and says what he needs to say to either Pelinka or Chris Haynes to get that message across. While the whole time Bron's like, nah, bro, I'm here with you. Like, I don't like, hey, this Kyrie stuff, bro. I never said that. I didn't say that. I didn't ask him to get Kyrie.
Like,
my agent did. My agent did that, but I didn't tell him to. I just, said I like playing with Kyrie more than I like playing with Russ. And Kyrie, he's a really good ball player, and I think he gives us a opportunity to win a championship. More so than Russell.
And that's exactly how the shit fucking went.
Bron's a politician, man. He gives himself plausible deniability. He lets Rich do all of his dirty work.
And nobody can ever be mad at him because he makes sure everybody's ultimately taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, Russell Westbrook, he earned his contract. That's why he's getting paid it. But he's like, look, man, I got you sent to San Antonio. You gonna coop more money, nigga. I took care of you.
Yeah,
he's like,
don't say thanks, baby.
Tristan got a 4 or 5 year, $85 million contract. He don't know how to act no more. So,
you think Tristan would be hanging out with Kardashians if it wasn't for me? Who you think hosted the party?
Facts, though.
Come on now.
Even though that nigga from Toronto and all this other
Toronto.
shit.
He's a six god.
That nigga played for the Cavs at the end of the day, bro. Wasn't nobody looking at the Cavaliers if LeBron James wasn't there.
Hey, did you listen to the shot?
No.
All right, so I ain't even gonna hit it because it'll be a repeat of last week. How I said they had these conversations where there's no pushback.
Yeah,
that was the entire thing. Like everybody agreed.
They literally talked about okay. You're saying what you said last week is actually it came to fruition. You watched it. That is exactly what they did.
Yeah. There was no pushback.
Said, yeah, man, it's fucked up. Free BG.
Yeah,
you know she didn't. I would be doing this. Me too, LeBron. Like.
They had even when it started, it said something about Brittany Griner and she's been here this many days as of recording. Yeah, man, it was some bullshit.
How many yes men do you think LeBron has in his camp? How many yes men are in? I tell you that. How many non-yes men are in LeBron's camp?
3.
Maverick, Rich, and
Randy Mims.
Okay.
Everybody else, yes, man. And if you want to add Savannah in there, then there's 4.
Naturally, yeah, his wife.
And I think in his close friends group, but I wouldn't consider his camp. I think CP3, D Wade, and Melo keep it real with him. Like I think Melo being in that locker room, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't call Bron out in public. But I think
they never played together either, too. I mean, they had in the USA team, but actual competitive basketball because we know that Team USA was always going to win.
But I feel like if Bron got on that bullshit in the locker room or in practice, after practice with him and Melo will go kick it because no one else on that team, I think, could really kick it with LeBron on the regular. AD, he's on that level, but he's just younger, different interests.
He did a Taco Tuesday or 2 during the season.
Yeah. Russ, he just trying to – Russ a family man. He ain't on that, like, let's go to LeBron's house and kick it on the regular type shit.
Nah, he's with his wife and his kids.
But, Melo, he's single. He tricking out there, you know what I mean?
His kids are a little bit older, too.
Yeah, they damn near 40. So Melo go out there and be like, hey, bro, how you going to do that shit, bro? Well, we was up here drinking Lobos all night last night, and you mad at goddamn Malik for coming in practice hungover. You hungover. Yeah, but
I was right. I was ready to practice, even if I was hungover.
But Bron
wasn't he?
But Bron, you didn't knock him for not practicing well. You knocked him for being hungover. You was hungover, bro. We smelled the liquor on you too.
Kyle guessed.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I think that's what Melo brought. Cause I don't think Melo's like a Bron yes man like other players are because Melo believes at his peak he was better than Bron.
Melo should have won Rookie of the Year. LeBron James, their rookie year.
Absolutely, he scored more points and he got his team to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I remember then. Isn't that crazy that you can go back 10 years old, bro? I can remember looking at that and saying to myself, "Damn, what a travesty! Why did Melo win Rookie of the Year?" Like
I was okay with it because I was a Bron guy then, but I knew it was wrong.
It's something that still sticks to me today. I don't need propaganda and sports talk that people bring it up now. I remember then because even as a kid, I just remember that shit wasn't right. And we were off season ticket, and look, but LeBron obviously turned out being the better player, of course, but like at the time, I thought Melo was going to be better than LeBron.
Well, when we get to talking about NBA players and we talk about awards, and I'm one who will poke holes in awards sometimes. Cause I'd be like, yeah, he got that award, but ... And a lot of times people in our group text aren't receptive to that. And I go, here's the thing about most of y'all. Y'all don't consume sports media the way that I consume sports media. So y'all don't understand the slants and biases that these people have. And y'all also don't understand when they come back and say, hey, yeah, I probably shouldn't have voted Russell Westbrook for MVP, but because he had the triple-double after KD left, I got too caught up in the narrative, and that's why I voted for him. They don't consume that shit. So when I'm saying, like, hey, yeah, he won the award and that gets to go on his mantle, but don't take that as his fucking gospel. You know, LeBron hasn't won an MVP since he left Miami. That's nuts. It's nuts.
He should have won once, at least in Cleveland.
Yeah, he could have took one of them MVPs from Harden, because when you looked at their plus minus with him on the court and off the court, it's crazy.
Harden has one now.
Did he have one or two?
He's got one.
Yeah, but he had a bunch. He was second place a lot.
All right. Yeah, he's got one.
And Russ got one he shouldn't have.
I'm like, no, he's got one. I think similarly, kind of with Embiid, oddly enough, being his teammate, Embiid now has 2 years in a row. Granted, to the same person, he's got 2 second-place finishes now.
And that don't sit right with me.
Well, it sets up for him that next year, as long as he's the number 1 seed, and he doesn't have to average 30, but as long as he gives them 27, 13, and 2.5, he probably wins it.
What if James is back though?
James isn't going to go for more than Embiid, though. I think that that's just it. Harden is going to accept, because he was kind of doing it with Kyrie. He will accept his facilitator role, but we know that he will have his 40 and 50, even 50 nights, right? Like, now the real question is, will Tyrese Maxey be okay with it? Because remember, Maxey is still trying to get paid, and even if somebody else will pay him, which somebody will, he still has got to put up his 18. He really got to be going for 20 himself, and he's not a point guard.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you something. When you talking about building a championship team, we don't care. We don't care about who the buddy on his first contract. The people who win championships, they get max contracts. They're not on their first contract, and oftentimes they're not on their rookie extension. They're on contract 3. Those are the champions in this league. I don't want y'all to, this ain't the Magic Johnson NBA. This ain't the Larry Bird NBA, Michael Jordan NBA, where guys stayed in college and they became grown men. Like, I need y'all to understand the difference between a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old. A 22-year-old can compete with 30-year-olds in everything. When you're 22, if you making 6 figures, you can go into the club, you can go to the lounge, you can go to the bar, you can go to the grocery store, and you can compete with anybody who in there that night, unless they are scammers. Can't compete with scammers and rappers because they trick and they don't have no game. But when you talk about people with game, that are adults who will have a good conversation but also spend a little bit of money, at 22 you can compete. At 19, you can have double the resources. You can't compete. You ain't got razor bumps yet. You know what I mean? Like,
but you're still a kid, and in reality, you don't even recognize really when games being ran on you.
Nah, you ain't been there yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. Hey, bro, don't talk shit to KD. Because KD is one of the biggest shit talkers in the league. And he will talk your face off and give you 40. And you going to get the tech. He ain't. At 22, you're a little bit smarter. You're a little bit stronger. Like that beer that used to wouldn't sit on you, it sit on you for a day and a half. It ain't gonna sit like it sit on me. I'm 30. If I drink beer, if I have a night of beer drinking, bro, I'm bloated for 3 days.
That's why I can't do it. But even to your point, because now I'm out of this tequila. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna actually go grab a beer.
You go grab a beer, and while you grab a beer, I'm gonna shift us out of here, man. Because we got to talk about AOC. The topic of this podcast was free AOC, and I told my wife that I would only record for 1 hour and 15 minutes today, and lo and behold, we're at 1 hour and 45. Jesus Christ. Parlay Pete's grabbing a beer. But let me see something. We don't need no beer here. I'm just going to hold this. You know, I might just shift my position. I'm going to wait for him to come back. and try to figure out what he's doing because I've seen his bar before. I've drank from his bar many times, and I'm confused as to why he needs to go grab a beer when he should have some damn liquor in his bar. He should have some tequila at his bar because usually there's multiple bottles of tequila at his bar. So I'm gonna sit here and wait because the bottle I'm drinking out of ain't even up there. It's over here on my side. You see, I'm gonna explain to y'all. This is what you call killing dead air. You just talk about absolutely nothing. Because we're going to talk about freeing AOC. Yeah, I'm talking shit about you for needing to drink beer because I know I don't stock my bar as well as you do. And I'm just putting mine up here on display to say that you should have some more. You should have more tequila.
I do have more tequila, but
okay,
I've got a beer. Just because I really don't ever drink beer. That's just it. When you brought it up, I probably still have.
Oh,
let's say I bought a 12-pack of hops. This is Hopscutioner, by the way, too. So it's not just, if I'm not drinking a light beer like the Mickey
Ultra.
Yeah, man. That's the go-to.
Don't I usually bring those to your? I used to bring Budweiser, but I started bringing the Ultras to your house, didn't I?
Yeah, that and hops. 6-pack hops.
Well, yeah. That's I'm talking about beer that I get for free. The hops, I'm bringing beer to drink. When I'm bringing the Ultras, I grab some out my mom's war chest. Dog, my mom like read me up on beer. Let me see if I can show you the angle. Let's see. She brought me seltzers. You see that?
Where am I looking? Down or up?
You see that white?
Yes. Oh, okay.
Those are seltzers. We're 4 high, 2 deep, and this fridge is full, and my actual fridge got seltzers in them too.
Well, goddamn, must be 2 sides, huh?
Nah, yeah, she came through with like almost 200 seltzers.
And they're is it the Michelob or
the Michelob Ultra Organic seltzers?
You a big fan of those? Are they? I think I've had them before, but
they're good. They're good tasting. They have a full taste. Like how I don't know how many seltzers you've had, but like the Truly seltzers have a more full taste than the White Claws. White Claws, they taste like Diet Coke. So it has the
Diet Coke. White people do. White people love Diet Coke. They love that shit. They're like Coke. Funny story, too. I went to the World of Coke for the first time Sunday. I took my daughter.
You never had a field trip there?
I swear to God, I've never been there. Justice had been there on a field trip, and we went to the same school our entire life. But somehow, some way, I've never been there, and I went for the first time on Sunday. Very interesting.
I also have these Michelob Ultra Organic White Gold lagers.
If you're just going to drink a normal beer with no... I like the Michelob Ultra Lime Cactus pear one. Those are my 420. See, I'm not opposed to 420, but I am just so engulfed with this. I think that I just stick to one thing, and it's always the hops accusation.
I had a Terrapin beer yesterday because I went to a Chamber of Commerce event out here yesterday. Did some schmoozing, and they had this one this one Terrapin beer, and I absolutely loved. Forgot the name of it. Got a bunch of koozies yesterday. 3 Terrapin koozies.
Oh, wow.
Even my wife's job, they were giving out koozies. Bro, why are people calling me? I'm live. Don't y'all know I have a podcast? N-words? Hey, but let's talk about AOC, man. Free AOC. AOC the God, she got arrested for protesting. And, I caught flack in our group text for saying, hey, I don't really want to see you protest. I want to see you go draft legislation. And And they made me feel as if I was saying get back in the kitchen.
Get back in the kitchen. You gotta get that sound effect too.
I do. That's how they made me feel, though. They really made me feel like I'm wrong for saying, hey, Congresswoman who is responsible for drafting legislation, go draft legislation. And they were like, she's trying to show the voters she's out here. She's trying to make a change. And I go, the voters who that resonates with are voting for her already.
Well, as you just said, as a congressperson, like your job is to draft legislation. Let's get to the nitty gritty, the most simple form of talking about that. What do people get elected to do? To represent. She's a House of Representative. You being out there is not representing the people. That seems like that's representing you and your agenda. Representing the people is drafting the legislation. It's actually making the change. You going out there is a sign of symbolism. Yeah, it looks great, I guess, on Instagram.
It only looks great on Instagram.
It looks
don't look great nowhere else.
It looks great, but it's not really doing anything. And I, you know,
and guess what? I'm pretty sure
not walking with them.
And I'm pretty sure she's getting eviscerated on Fox News right now. And for some people should say that shouldn't matter, but your right-leaning people and some of your moderate people consume Fox News. So now the place where you could actually get some crossover, you're getting demolished. You're getting demolished. And I don't think that helps you make people who don't side with you conform to what you're doing. But what do I know? I'm just a big baby.
Let me tell you something, Lee. And you tell me. Abolitionists.
Okay.
What do you know them to be?
I know abolitionists. You talking about the white people who helped us, or you talking about the niggas?
Yes. You're already basically answering the question.
They were the white people who realized that what was happening in America was wrong, and for whatever reason, they became convicted to help change that.
Whether they were white people or freed slaves. I don't think that Harriet Beecher Stowe was fucking going to a plantation and telling them to chain me up. If you're going to beat them, you got to beat me too.
No. She wasn't doing that.
You know what she did? She was talking to the fucking lobbyists, the fucking lawmakers, the president. These people were getting in touch with the people that dictated, not going with the people it's affecting and saying, I feel your pain too. Oh, I'm getting it done to me as well.
Hey man, you know why the left, a lot of liberal black people don't like our stances?
Because they're fucking caught up in what?
Symbolism.
Symbolism and just what they're used to in their entire life. It's just like if somebody grows up and look, I consider myself a believer of Jesus Christ. But that was something that was also good. If I was born in China, I might believe in Buddha or don't believe in anything because the majority of Chinese people don't, based on the numbers, they don't believe in anything. So that could be a chance that that's something that happens to me if I was born elsewhere. And it's the same thing with black people in politics. For the most part, most black people grow up with just, oh, well, we're Democrats.
And black people are Democrats.
It's like growing up black. It's just like you don't listen to rap music.
Yeah. No. You got to listen to rap and you got to be a Democrat.
R&B, like soul. Why is it that a black person can't grow up and country be their fucking favorite?
And guess you know what else you got to do? You got to subscribe to the street code too. No snitching. Can't talk to the police. You got to subscribe to all that too if you're black.
Yeah, these are being a black Democrat's a fucking stereotype, is what it is, honestly.
And when you tell black people like, hey, I vote for what makes sense for me.
I'm bipartisan. I want what's best.
When I say, hey, this radical I like the radical parts of the left agenda. I can't support that.
Just like I'd say the same thing. This far right wing shit, I cannot get with this.
No.
And
like, hey, let me give you something, and let's get like a real nuanced conversation.
Go ahead.
I can say that I support the Supreme Court saying, "Hey, send abortion back to the states," and then at the same time, I can say Georgia's 6-week law is bullshit. And well, how can if you say that 6 weeks? If you say that the 6-week law is bullshit, that means you think the Supreme Court's wrong. No. Well, if you say the Supreme Court's wrong, that means you support an abortion ban. No, I don't. I support states being able to make the decisions that are best for their state, because when we start having too large of a federal government, California and Georgia are totally different places. And
you can't have it both ways. You need to pick a side.
No, the fuck I don't.
That's what we do.
Like,
there is no fucking in between.
There's no nuance.
But there's no nuance. There's no in between. There's no common ground of understanding. Typically, when it comes to certain issues in our community.
Right, you saw it today. When I said I understand this, I'm getting killed for it. Like when I said, yeah, I understand the argument for waiting until you're married to have sex. Well, are you doing it? Well, no, I did not.
What does that have to do with what you said?
Well,
none of us did, because unless somebody in the group's a virgin,
and they wouldn't be in this group. There's no virgins in our group because we would pick on them. And part of what I was saying is like
we all know that none of us are either. Like whether in some cases there's children, right? So
there's children. Some of us are fucked in. Some of us fucked in the same houses at the same time, possibly the same rooms. Like we went to college together.
I know about it, or
yeah. Now
a woman could have even talked to somebody you knew. It's like, oh yeah, they talked about this experience. Like,
there's Eskimo brothers in the group too. Like, but when I say that and they go, well, you saying that means nothing. I go, no. All I'm saying is here's a perspective that exists, and based on my experiences, some of those mistakes, I understand why, whether it really came from the Bible or it was just something that was being pushed on people, that you wait until you're married to have sex. Because guess what? If you wait until you're married to have sex, you find out if you actually like a person and you can like deal with that person, you can resolve conflicts with that person without
sex not being
without sex being a thing. But you also
it makes it that much more enjoyable. I would imagine, right? Like
and dog. We've had sex with women that we've cared about. We've had sex with women that we didn't care about. Yo, a girl can have some amazing box, but like if I don't really connect with you, that experience ain't
being around them except for the time that you spend in the bedroom, and that's where it ends.
Yeah, it's like I don't want
so much drinking and drugs and all these other things that you can do to mask that. Like, it starts to turn you into a fucking addict. Like these are the things that are created from this. And its own paradigm almost. Like,
and just because I bring that up and because I didn't live it, it's like we can't have a exercise of thought on this. Is dog, you are becoming a voice for the radical left, and I'm gonna sound like I'm a conspiracy theorist, but you're becoming a voice for the radical left that does not accept pushback and reason with ideas that you don't align with, and that's fucking crazy.
But then when it comes to the other side of politics,
right?
When it comes to the trans, when it comes to basically all this other stuff, everybody's like, nah, man, that's a fucking dude. Like, come on, man. They were born this way. Science says that they were born this way. But we accept the pushback from them on it, but we can't accept the pushback of opinion because it's all opinion based. There isn't technically a right answer unless it's scientifically proven. It can all just be kind of opinion based on what we consider this, that, and the third. Just like even something as simple with gun law and gun reform. the stand your ground law. Somebody could clearly the state of Florida, which we all disagree with, that Zimmer fucking shooting Trayvon Martin was not him standing his fucking ground.
No, but
I got with that.
But hey, I got
the law is interpreted to where it worked to his advantage.
It did.
That's what the fucking law is.
And I got pushed back in some other circles on the Trayvon Martin thing. I said, I understand what Zimmerman did. I don't agree with it, but he got his ass whooped. He went and got his strap.
And because he was getting his ass whooped, he thought that he was threatened enough to where his life was in danger.
Yeah, he
shot that nigga because he couldn't mind his own fucking business and listen to the police.
Hey, Parlay Pete, how about this one? Everybody's saying free Young Thug, right?
Yeah.
But at some point with that beef, people got so upset with what the other side was doing, they went and got the gun to settle it. It's the same thought process. You got over on me. You know what? And I'm getting a strap.
I don't know why. When I hear that sound, but I think of Herb. You can't pump fake me like that.
But no, that's what it is. It's like, hey, bro, you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get the strap.
Small tidbit, just because you just played it and I brought up Herb. I bet that if Sark goes 7-6, that they hire Urban Meyer next year. We don't have to talk about it, but just hit me. If they go 7-6, I bet money that Urban Meyer's Texas coach next year with Arch Manning. But go ahead.
I got to close this out because I got to go spend my mom. So I got to go spend some time with my mom.
Understood. I saw.
But no. Here's the thing: free AOC, so she can take her ass back to Congress.
I want the T-shirt
and write some laws. Hey, the T-shirt. I'm gonna go check out the T-shirt stuff this week. And I got plenty of blank black T-shirts, so you'll have one soon.
I want one, please. Please.
Hey, freer the fast way, and I think we
till backwards.
Till it's backwards, yeah. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a conversation about why it is important for there to be nuanced black political conversations, because
the only way to change or go ahead, my bad.
Because a lot of us think differently based on our experiences, and if you're trying to put me in the super liberal left that I'm supposed to subscribe to because I'm black and I'm supposed to vote Democrat, no, I have my own beliefs.
And even to close out with my thought on this, that's exactly what. And people can be upset about this, and somebody could be like, "No, you got bias. You're being subjective because you're a fan of Kanye." But this is exactly what the fuck Kanye was talking about.
Yeah, free thought.
He wasn't saying Trump's his daddy. He loves Trump. I mean, maybe he does love Trump. Like I said, I think Trump a real nigga myself. But that's just me. And I think a lot more people now with Biden and are like, damn, I really wish we had Trump back type shit. But I agreed with him more so because of his idea of what the Democratic Party stands for. And it stands for y'all niggas. He called it a plantation itself because nobody wants to get off of it. Everybody wants to continue to just feel like this is the way. If you ain't black,
you ain't black if you don't vote for me.
And you've been right. You ain't black if you don't. Right. And more importantly, you've been doing it for all these years, but you keep having the same fucking issues. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, did you ever at least talk to the other side or talk to other people for why they do it this way? Did you talk to independents? I mean, where's the conversation at? Why is it that we're just endorsing somebody because a majority of black people follow it and then a majority of black politicians are on this side?
If we can't agree on who's the greatest rapper of all time, who's the greatest basketball player of all time, why should we all be on the same page with our politics? That's crazy. With
a political philosophy.
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, and we are not saying you should just go run and be Republican. What we're saying is you should do your research and you should vote according to what you believe in, not in what somebody tells you you're supposed to believe in.
And in what you think helps the majority, when sometimes you need to help yourself before you can help others.
Hey, if you poor, vote for yourself. Don't vote for everybody else. You got anything else?
Nah, that was a hell of a way to end it.
Hey, free AOC till it's back.